Hi there, I'm Lori, and I'm a yarn addict. I really started to get through my stash to some degree. Not a lot, as you know, my stash is not tiny. And then another yarn, Shannon, who happens to live kind of close to me, decided she was going to start reorganizing her yarn and getting rid of stuff that she knows she'll never use. So after she gave a whole bunch of bulky weight yarn to her friend, she's like, I found some more. Do you want it? Am I ever going to say no to yarn? Ever? So, I went and picked up the flannel. If you saw my Friday video, you saw that I got some flannel. And I'm using some of it. I probably am gifting some of that. And otherwise, I had to find a home for the flannel, right? So, not only did this require that I redo this bookcase here, but there's a yarn stash, I guess I would call it, behind the door in that other room that I don't think I've ever shown. So I'm going to insert a before picture of the bookcase and a before picture of the closet that I had to rearrange. I had to move the whole menagerie cloth container thing that I had it in up because I had actually done some heavy creams and moved them out of there, so there was space. And then I needed a giant bag, and so that's why I had to move the menagerie. The menagerie wasn't taking up, the big twist menagerie yarn wasn't taking up the whole space there. So I'm like, okay, this big bag needs this space, so I'll put the menagerie up here. So I'll show you a picture of that moved. Big empty space. So why did I have to do that? Well, I have a big fat yarn problem. And when I mean big fat yarn, I mean big fat yarn. After I said that I have a big fat yarn problem, I started to show a Happy Meal from Another Yarn. It was making my Yarn Management Monday video way too long. So you will get to see all of that Happy Meal on Wednesday. So some of what I say may not make sense later, but I wanted to focus Monday's video on just yarn management because it was too long. So Wednesday, you'll get to see the first batch of yarn that Another Yarn Shannon gave me. Now for more yarn management. I have two problems. Big fat yarn and cotton. So I gotta figure it out. All right. I'll see you when I figure it out. All right. I'm back. Here's everything I had to do. I had to pull everything out of here. Not this, because this isn't yarn. Everything came off of here. Because there was cotton blend yarn everywhere here. Everywhere. Like, behind everything. So now everything is 100% cotton. There and here. Now there isn't yarn. This is like notions and stuff, like stitch markers and tape and whatever. That's what's back here. Right here is also cotton, but notice I got those cotton cones from J Paradise moved out of the plastic bag. You know what? I'm going to bring that bag over. I will be inserting a picture of the bookcase, but I'm going to bring the bag over. Okay, so this bag used to have pretty much everything that J Paradise had sent me. Now it is all cotton blends. There's the yarn you just saw from Another Yarn. There's a lot of yarn in here you haven't seen. That's a J Paradise yarn. Anyway, if it was not 100% cotton, it ended up in here, but I had two more that I gotta kind of shove in here. Let's see. Gotcha. Let's see me shoving this in here. That is down there, that same color yarn. The white. Here, let's go right there. Okay. Now, can I zip it? Yes. All right, then this is going to go back over on the bookcase. I just added a little bit. But you can see it's pretty maxed out now. Now this does breathe. Has the little holes there, so, and it's not like super crazy squished. Anyway, yes, I'm wearing my spooky shirt. Also, notice, for some reason, this time, and I'm trying to get it to fade all the way out so I can try this other purple product. It's fading to blue. I mean, there's a hint of purple, but it's way more of a blue than, I don't know, that's just how it's fading this time. I don't know what I'm doing differently. Anyway, so 100% cotton behind here and over there. Cotton blends when then there's cotton thread up there, but I still have projects I want to do with those, but that's a whole different thing. Anyway, so I'm going to send a picture of this, or send a picture. Put in a picture. And again, this is my cotton blend. It's going to go back over on the bookcase. So then there was a little bit that wasn't cotton or cotton blend in the J Paradise. One was a small silk hank. I put that with my, what did I call them? Fibers. Natural fibers, there's the word. Natural fibers minus cotton, right? So if it had any wool or silk or bamboo or whatever, it's over in those. I've got two bags. One this size and one that's, I think, a little bigger. So all of my J Paradise that was in there is now distributed to where it needs to be. The polyester yarn that was in there, though, that ended up on the back side of the door, which I don't think I showed you the before picture, so I'll do a before and after picture right here. I rearranged and grouped together yarn that was the same or similar, and then that polyester yarn is, I believe, up in the top little thing. In this room, I have a shoe holder that I use as a yarn holder, and then I have other thing, whereas that other one is a yarn holder. In here, I have scraps. We're not looking at those today. No, that's yarn management for a whole different year, probably. Because what I do is it's very organized, my scraps. I go grab scraps like this for me to work on this blanket. I'll just show you the edge here. Mile High Stadium has this orange edge, but then they have kind of gray or silver metal looking there. So I just needed some scrap gray. Anyway, I'm getting really creative on what to do here because this is not obviously the traditional Bavarian stitch. Well, darn it. I didn't pull my loop up. Always put your darn stitch marker in. I know better. It's inevitable that it will come out if I don't do that. So I'm kind of getting creative with let me put my T set in there. Wait, there. All right. Okay. So, back of the door before, back of the door after. It might not look a whole lot different to you, but believe me, there's a lot of organization that happened. And yeah. So that was that. Oh, the closet. So the closet. You saw the before picture with the big open space. Well, I had a big bag and all the big yarn. And I say all. It's not actually all. I still have more to deal with, but that'll be next week. There's still some room in there, but all my big yarn, including, so I used to have, okay, if you can see that gap right there, there's a gap there. That's where this goes. But what was there was my cover story, you know, the big giant ball, 2.2 pounds, 547 yards of 6. So what is that? Super bulky, super chunky, 6-weight yarn. I have no idea what that is, implies, not a clue. Anyway, so that's what was there. Other things I did on the bookcase. So you saw the before picture. At the bottom, I had a whole stash of, what was that yarn? What is that yarn? I still have it. I 100% have sweater quantity of that yarn, but it's a 6-weight yarn too, but it's not a blanket yarn. It might be labeled 5, but I would call it a 6. And it's black and white twisted. It's very beautiful, and it will make a beautiful sweater. I just have to get around to it. So that is in my big yarn problem, my big fat yarn problem bag. So I moved all of that off the bottom shelf. So now the bottom shelf is just whips that I need to get to ASAP, that I'm not, or sorry, heavy creams, pre-whips, whatever you want to call them. Because I have a whip that I started. I sent a picture to my daughter, and she said, no, I want this other pattern. So I pulled that out. I only did like 2 or 3 rows. It was no big deal. I literally was checking to see if she liked that. But, so I have that there. So it was a whip, but now it's frogged. So does that make it a whipped frog? A froggy whip? A whip? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, whatever that counts as. I guess it's back to heavy cream. I don't know. And so I put high priority whips there, and in the bucket there are 2 high priority whips. Heavy cream, sorry. So I made all that space, and then I reorganized some. I still did not have enough room. I was going to try to get Colorama Halo in that spot there, right there. But it's still sitting up on top because, oh, my friend is here, so I need to finish. I couldn't do it because it was too, I needed that space for this. And now all my heavy creams, their kind of priorities are together, and I apologize for all the noise. So I'm just going to end this here. I'm going to insert pictures so you can see everything. Thanks for coming in. Can I get an amen?